Hi, everyone. Best PR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing the main card of UFC 199. We are talking with two of our regular returning guests, Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsBreaker.com and also MMA analyst Brad Taschuk, also from MMAOddsBreaker.com. All right, John Dodson and Demetrious Johnson. You know, I don't know if this fight really is bettable. Right now at 5 dimes, I'm seeing DJ at minus 500, Dodson at plus 400. And, you know, we know the deal here, right? John Dodson clearly one of the best UFC fighters around right now, but Demetrious Johnson arguably the best UFC fighter around right now. So how do you bet against DJ? On the other hand, you know, if you're going to bet Demetrious Johnson, you really want to bet against John Dodson, considering how close the first fight was at minus 500. I think that maybe some people are saying that that if Dodson wins, it'll come, you know, by knockout in the first 2 rounds, and if it goes into the 3rd round, it's pretty much Johnson all the way. Brad Taschuk, is this fight bettable at all?
It's tough, definitely. You know, you look at the first fight, and you can see where people are getting the idea that Dodson might knock him out, but you look at the bulk of that first fight, and Johnson pretty much dominated it. Right. He was rocked for about 15, 20 seconds of a couple rounds in that fight, but even when he was rocked, he was still coming forward, making life difficult on Dodson, and eventually he just broke him down. And as far as I'm concerned, Johnson's a far better fighter than he was during their first meeting. So I think if you are betting it, even though Dodson by TKO is plus 700, and that's kind of a crazy number given his power, I still think you've got to side with the champion. So
you think that maybe DJ, even at minus 500, might have a little bit of value? Because that would mean that he would have to have, what, like an 85% chance of winning or something?
Yeah, it would be like 83% chance would be break even, but honestly, he's a guy that wins rounds, and not only does he win rounds, he wins basically every minute and every second of every round. It's just the way that he fights, and Dodson's a guy who historically, even before he got into the UFC, he's a guy that takes minutes and entire rounds off. Sure. Because he knows he has that knockout power to rely on, and you just can't rely on it against Johnson.
Nick Kalikas, right now the line is minus 500. Where did you open this, and has the public been biting either way?
4-1 was the opener, and it has, obviously increased to 5-1. So there's been more action coming in on Johnson. Of course, a lot of that is parlays as well, and we got to be a little bit smart. I mean, obviously, I do lean towards the champion. He is pound for pound. He's one of the best fighters on the planet, no doubt about that. I mean, the guy's so well rounded, and look what he's done to the division. I mean, we talk about how Ronda Rousey cleared out her division. I mean, comparable in a way. Demetrious Johnson has a lot of talent in his division. It's not as deep, obviously, as some of the other divisions, comparable to Rousey's, in the women's division there. But that being said, he's cleaned out everybody. I mean, he's faced the top competition, and he hasn't had a problem with any of them, including Dodson. I mean, he did get rocked, and Dodson always has that knockout chance for sure against anybody. He's one of the hardest hitters. But as Brad and you both said, I mean, Johnson is one of the best, and I don't see him really losing a decision here. It probably hits the scorecards again, and we see Johnson winning by unanimous decision.
How high would this line have to climb for the sharp action to start coming in on Dodson?
Oh, we'll get some bites for sure. Even at this price right here, a lot of people are going to think the line might be a little bit too much disrespect towards Dodson, especially coming off of a lackluster performance. A lot of people believe that his last fight wasn't really truly him, and he's been injured, of course, as well, and he's recovering from that. So I think it's more of a letdown in his last performance, and I think he's going to bounce back and probably be a little bit more competitive than people were anticipating. So I'm sure we'll see some sharp action in there, but will it be enough to really have a huge impact on the line? I don't think it will.
Right. Brad Taschuk, Demetrious Johnson minus 500, the over 4.5 rounds is minus 200, the under is 4.5 rounds plus 170. Right now, I'm not seeing anything that I'm attracted to in terms of a bet. It's going to be a great fight, obviously, to watch, see how it turns out. But as far as a bet, is there anything that you like here? And if nothing, if you had to make a bet, what would it be?
Well, in their first fight, I actually bet Johnson by decision. And that line closed around minus 130. And right now, looking at dimes, it's at minus 136 right now. So it's basically in the exact same spot as it was in their original fight. I think Johnson has a little bit more of a chance to finish because he has evolved, especially his submission game. But Dodson's just a really tough fighter and difficult to get to the ground, where Johnson gets most of his finishes. So I lean towards Johnson by decision again, and minus 136 for one of the best fighters on the planet for the most likely way he's going to win. That's definitely the most tempting number on the board to me.
Not bad. Demetrious Johnson by decision in the minus 135 range. Thanks so much, guys.